What's up, meatbags? I am the often imitated, never duplicated Lord of the Ring and your Frog King, Tony TGD. I'm coming at you with another Wrestling with Facts. This time we're talking about one of the pillars of Lucha Libre, one of the three great icons of the sport. We're talking about Mil Mascaras. That's right, the man of a thousand masks. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to unmask some things about him. Now, I will say, his real name is out there, but as he has not been unmasked, we're going to keep that off our lips. We're going to keep that secret. We're not going to expose who he really is, keeping with tradition. Now, this man right here is the Mil Mascaras you're all familiar with. He is the one that Mick Foley wrote about in his book, the one that others have wrestled all around the world. Now, before his debut in Mexico, Mil Mascaras was traveling all around the world, wrestling in various countries, winning titles, winning championships. He was living the high life. He was one of the greatest wrestlers to ever travel the globe before coming to Mexico City, debuting in 1965 in the Arena de Mexico. And none of that is actually true. No. You see, folks, that's all hype, all propaganda. First, we gotta talk about this man here. The man that became Mil Mascaras, he actually debuted in 1963 as a wrestler called Ricardo Duran. He wrestled for a few years. The man who would become Mil Mascaras, he was pretty much a nobody, but he did have a amateur wrestling background. He was part of a group that was going to be representing Mexico in the Olympics. However, there was a dispute over how much he was getting paid, and so he left the Olympic training camp, decided to become a Lucha Libre star. Like I said, he didn't make much noise. Now, this man right here is the original Mil Mascaras. Before Mil Mascaras debuted in actual, in-ring combat, they had photo shoots. They had lots of articles in Lucha Libre magazine. And in fact, the owner of Lucha Libre magazine actually created the whole Mil Mascaras legend. The stories of him going overseas and wrestling people, winning titles, all that was created as hype for the character. The owner of the magazine basically just came up with a backstory, came up with all these fantastic matches. He wanted to build hype for this wrestler who was basically created in order to sell movies. They needed a new movie star. And we had Santo was having a dispute over money. Blue Demon, he was injured. So they went ahead, they started creating this character, Mil Mascaras. Now, this guy here, he ended up not making the cut, not becoming the real Mil Mascaras. He ended up dropping out, and he became this man here, As de Oro, or Golden Aces. He had a 3-year career. Not very much is known about him. Wasn't very notable. Now, what we have here is a very rare scanning of a photonovela. Basically, it is a comic book. Instead of using drawings, they used pictures, and they kind of superimposed them on other backgrounds, and then used comic book writing to make the the speech bubbles. So it's like a weird combination of comic book and pictures. Now, this was in May 17, 1964, before his in-ring debut, before Mil Mascaras actually stepped into the ring. This was printed in Lucha Libre magazine, and this is the original Mil Mascaras, not the one who would go on to actually wrestle in the ring as Mil Mascaras, but the one who took the first pictures, the one who was originally approached to be Mil Mascaras. And in that same photonovela, they had a contest. You could actually enter a contest and try to create one of the 1,000 masks that Mil Mascaras would eventually go on to wear. They do give you some examples of masks that were sent in. and they tell you you could win 3,000. I'm assuming that's pesos and not dollars, because $3,000, that would have been a lot of money. I don't think they were giving out $3,000. Now, there is a bit of controversy about his actual debut. If you look in Wikipedia, you're going to get July 20th, 1963. That was probably the debut of the man behind the mask and not the actual character of Mil Mascaras. Some places are going to give you an April 1965 date. That's when he debuted in the Arena de Mexico and had his big coming out. But his actual in-ring debut was August 21st, 1964. He was working matches in northern Mexico, getting his feet wet, getting the character developed. So, August 21st, 1964 is the correct debut date for in-ring action of Mil Mascaras. Now, there are a few funny stories about Mil Mascaras, a few little bits of trivia that you might find interesting. On December 18th, 1972, Mil Mascaras fought the spoiler Don Jardine in Madison Square Garden. Now, the reason why this is a very important story, a very important date, is because New York City actually had a law, up until very recently actually, that said you cannot wear a full face covering unless you were part of some kind of a masquerade parade or something. And so when wrestlers would wrestle in Madison Square Garden, people like Don Jardine, they would take the mask off, and wrestle as themselves or unmasked. Now, in Lucha Libre, you can't just take the mask off. You can't just wrestle without your mask on. That's disrespectful. Disrespects the character. Disrespects the whole legacy of the sport. So when Vince McMahon Sr., wanted to book Mil Mascaras at Madison Square Garden, there was kind of an issue. And so Vince Sr. put pressure on the New York State Athletic Commission to bend the rules and allow Mil Mascaras and the Spoiler to wrestle fully masked for the first time ever in Madison Square Garden. And that was on December 18th, 1972. Now, another funny story about Mil Mascaras is that he was very, very insistent on keeping kayfabe, even in the back, even among the other boys, even going to the point of he actually used to shower with his mask on. Both Billy Graham, Chris Jericho have told stories about seeing Mil Mascaras in the showers after the matches, soaping up, fully masked. So the man went above and beyond to keep his mystique, keep that secret. And of course, this right here is the debut cover issue of Lucha Libre magazine for Mil Mascaras. It was on August 15th, 1965, the first time he ever graced the cover of the magazine, despite being created by the magazine, despite being featured in the magazine. It wasn't until a year later until he actually had a cover of his own. And that is pretty much all the interesting facts I could dig up, things that you might not have known about Mr. Mil Mascaras. Great wrestler, had a unique outlook on the sport. He always said that if you missed a move, if you performed a move weakly, he wasn't going to sell it. And he didn't expect you to sell any of his moves if he made a mistake or screwed up himself. That led to a lot of people thinking that he was difficult to work with. Perhaps he was. I was never in the ring with him, so I wouldn't know personally, but we've had different accounts. Dick Bayer said he was great to work with, had some of his best matches. People like Mick Foley, Chris Jericho said the man was terrible to work with. I guess, watch matches, decide on your own. Was he a prima donna? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think. And of course, love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.